Greetings, brave souls, chosen ones, warriors of the unseen battles. This is no ordinary message, no gentle whisper for the timid or the untested. This is a clarion call for those of you who have staggered under the suffocating weight of rejection, not from strangers, but from the very ones who should have held you closest, your family. You, who poured out your heart, your love, your obedience, your tireless effort, believing, hoping that it would finally be enough. Enough to win their acceptance, their respect, their unshakable care. Instead, they met you with cold criticism, iron-fisted control, and a shame that clung to you like a shadow. You've carried this load far too long, its jagged edges cutting deeper with every step. But today, today, that burden falls away. Today it ends. As C.S. Lewis so piercingly wrote, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. This isn't just a hardship you've endured. It's a summons, a sacred invitation to rise. From the very dawn of your existence, there was something different about you, wasn't there? A spark, a quiet hum in your soul that you couldn't quite name, but always felt. It set you apart, made you a mystery even to yourself. But in their eyes, those who should have been your shelter, it marked you as a problem. Too much, they said, when your laughter danced too freely, spilling joy like sunlight through cracked walls. Not enough, they sneered, when you retreated into the sanctuary of your own thoughts, too quiet for their liking. Too strong, they hissed, when you dared to stand tall in your truth, unyielding. Too weak, they mocked, when your heart broke open and your tears dared to fall. No matter how you twisted yourself, no matter how you stretched or shrank, your very being seemed an offense they couldn't forgive. So you tried to fix it. You bent yourself into shapes no human soul was meant to hold. Jagged, unnatural angles that left you aching. You softened your voice until it was a whisper, changed your words until they were theirs, even shifted the way you walked, hoping, praying, that if you could just fit their mold, peace would come, love would come. But it didn't. You gave pieces of yourself away, handfuls of your spirit, until you barely recognized the reflection staring back at you. And still, their approval dangled just beyond your grasp, a mirage that shifted with every step you took toward it. That's when the shame slithered in, subtle at first, then relentless, a voice that hissed in the dark corners of your mind, telling you they were right. You began to believe it. You questioned your worth, your identity, your very reason for existing. Anxiety became your shadow, self-doubt your cruelest judge. In your lowest moments, that pain turned inward, sharp and unforgiving. For some, it clawed its way out as self-harm, a frantic bid to silence the ache. For others, it built walls of isolation, a retreat from a world that echoed the same rejection you'd always known. But then, something pierced the darkness. A crack of light broke through the storm. You saw it, didn't you? A fleeting vision of what family could be. Parents who lifted their children high, not with conditions, but with uncontainable pride. Siblings who stood as comrades, not rivals, their loyalty a shield instead of a sword. Families where love wasn't a trophy to be won through blood and tears, but a gift poured out freely, abundantly, without measure. It wasn't envy that surged in your chest. It was grief, raw and jagged, for the love you were born to have, the belonging that was your birthright, stolen from you before you could even claim it. That grief wasn't your defeat, it was your awakening. And with that awakening came a truth so fierce it could shatter stone. It was never about you. You were never the flaw, never the broken piece they claimed you were. You were the scapegoat, the canvas they smeared with their insecurities, their failures, their buried wounds. Your light, that radiant glow you couldn't dim, wasn't invisible to them. It was unbearable. It illuminated their shadows, exposed their cracks, and rather than bask in it, they sought to snuff it out. C.S. Lewis wrote in The Problem of Pain, God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pain. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. That pain you've carried? It wasn't sent to crush you. It was sent to call you, to wake you. And when that truth sank in, everything changed. Their rejection, once a millstone around your neck, became a badge of your resilience. The shame they draped over you like a shroud transformed into a mirror reflecting their own fractures, not yours. Their refusal to love you wasn't a verdict on your worth. It was a confession of their blindness. Now, right now, is your moment to step into the light you've dimmed for far too long. You were never meant to squeeze into their brittle, suffocating mold. You were forged to shatter it, to break free and rise into the fullness of who you were created to be. Your value has never hinged on their nods of approval. You are chosen, not by them, but by the one who breathed life into your bones, who wove your spirit with purpose and power. Stand in that truth. Let their rejection be the furnace that refines you, not the chains that hold you back. You were made for more. Oh, so much more. And this is only the beginning. So you began to pull away, not with malice, not with a heart hardened by hate, but with a quiet, resolute act of survival. You noticed it, didn't you? How every time you stepped into their orbit, your peace unraveled, thread by thread. They didn't want to lift you up. They wanted to tether you down, to keep you small, manageable, theirs to command. And when they felt you slipping from their grasp, when they saw the reins of control fraying, they lashed out. They did what they'd always done. They painted you as the villain. You're abandoning us, they cried. Ungrateful. Selfish. Cruel. They spun their web of lies, twisting the story until you were the monster once again. They rallied others to their cause, hoping to tighten the noose of isolation around you. But this time, it didn't work. Because this time, you held the truth like a torch in the dark. Yes, their words still sting. There are days when their accusations slice through your armor, reopening wounds you thought had healed. Moments when you wonder if you're the one in the wrong, if stepping away makes you the traitor they claim you are. In those raw, trembling moments, anchor yourself here. God sees you. He knows the wars you've waged in silence, the tears you've wept when no one else could hear, the prayers you've breathed into the night. He is your stronghold, your unshakable refuge. Psalm 55 verse 22 promises, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved." The fiercest battles aren't fought on distant fields. They're waged in the tender spaces of family, with those who share your blood, your history, your past. The ones who should have been your sanctuary often wield the sharpest blades. Their words, their deeds, their judgments aimed straight for your heart. But you are not unarmed. You are not alone. Today, I'm arming you with tools to stand against their onslaught, not with fists, but with wisdom, with grace, with the strength of the divine. First, etch this into your soul. Their attacks are not about you. They're about them. Their venom springs from their own fears, their own gaping wounds. Their clawing need to control what they cannot comprehend. You became their target because you dared to be you, unapologetically, brilliantly you. You refused to shrink into their blueprint, and that defiance terrifies them. As Jesus said in John 15 verse 18, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first." Even your family's rejection isn't a measure of your worth. It's a testament to their struggle with your light. When they hurl their accusations, when they try to drag you back into their chaos with guilt or shame, you don't have to leap into every fray. Silence can be your sword. Proverbs 17 verse 28 reminds us, "Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." Your quiet refusal to engage starves their hunger for a fight, keeps your spirit steady. But when silence won't suffice, when their words demand an answer, let wisdom be your shield and clarity your spear. Speak with a calm that unnerves them. "I hear you, but I'm choosing what guards my peace and honors my purpose." It's a response that deflects their bait without surrendering your ground. And when they accuse you of betrayal, of turning your back on family, meet them with truth wrapped in grace. "I love you, but I can't shatter myself to fit your expectations. My boundaries aren't rejection, they're protection. I hope one day you'll see that." It's firm, it's kind, and it leaves no room for their distortions. Boundaries are your fortress, not walls to shut them out, but gates to guard your soul. Tell them, "I won't stay where disrespect festers. If this continues, I'll step away. And then, do it. Show them your peace isn't negotiable. Their assaults won't always be loud. Sometimes it's the quiet barbs, the sly digs that slip under your skin. Counter them with the unbreakable promise of Isaiah 54 verse 17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Not their words, not their schemes, not their judgment. And above all, wield prayer like a blazing torch. Pray for strength to stand, for wisdom to see, and yes, for them. Not because they've earned it, but because it unshackles you from bitterness. Whisper, Lord, I release their words to you. Transform their hearts, and guard mine. Prayer isn't surrender, it's defiance, a trust in God's power to fight what you cannot. There will be nights when their voices echo in your mind, stirring that child within, the one who still yearns for their love, who still dreams of their pride. When that ache rises, cling to this. You are already cherished beyond measure. Psalm 139 verses 13 to 14 sings, For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. His love isn't a prize to win. It's yours, unshakable, eternal. They'll call you distant, cold, heartless as you shield yourself. But distance isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Say, I'm stepping back because I need space to heal. I still love you, but I won't let this wound me anymore. Let your words carry strength, not spite. And when their barbs slip through, because they will, because you're human, don't let shame take root. Run to God with your hurt. This is too heavy, Lord. Heal me. Remind me who I am. The enemy will try to drag you back into doubt, but you'll meet him with scripture, with prayer, with the truth that you are not what they say. You are his. When they escalate, when they weave others into their tangled games, stand firm. Don't stoop to their level. Say, I won't tear anyone down to prove myself. I'm building a life of peace. Join me or not. Let them scheme alone. You don't need to win over those who choose to misunderstand. You are not the villain they paint. You are God's beloved, chosen for a purpose they can't yet fathom. This is your story now, a tale of breaking free, of rising whole, of stepping into the extraordinary destiny forged in the fires of your pain. The battle may linger, but the victory is already yours.